What's good? What's good? I just realized I look a little bit like the Liver King, and I don't really like that. I know of him, but I've never consumed any of his like content and his BS because sometimes you can just see people are just BS, and yet people follow them. It's so wild that these types of people can grow such followings. I think humans in general are pretty susceptible to culty activities. Most people I know are in some form of an organization or association that borders on culty. Culty. Anyways, the cult I'm a part of, the crypto cult, and I'm not even technically a part of it, but I think the crypto people even can be culty. But that's what I want to talk about today is crypto. Specifically, not financial advice, but I think you should go buy some crypto. I currently have about half an ETH token, Ethereum. It's like the second biggest token next to Bitcoin, right? And I really think, based on the little research I've done and then fantastic conversations I've had with a friend of mine who's way more crypto aware than I, that it has some longevity to it and a wide array of applications. So the diversity of its ability makes it a really promising investment. Not financial advice, but that's why I decided to buy some. Over the last year and a half, I've just been buying a little bit here and there, $50, $100. And it sucks on one end because, you're paying a fee. I just use Coinbase. There might actually be a link in the description if you don't currently own any crypto and you want to get involved in it. Click on my link, and I think we both get some rewards if you open a Coinbase account and buy $100. This is not at all sponsored. I have 361 subscribers. Thank you all very much. Not at all sponsored. This is just me being authentic. And so I'm at a point where I've got that half an ETH, and it's been rising a little bit, and it would be nice to see it rise more, and it would be nice to see it break a new high, because then I'd have a few grand, and it would be nice to have a few grand right now, wouldn't it? Let me ask you as the viewer, if you had an extra $4,000 right now, would that be nice? That would be really nice for me. I don't know what I would do, because I have about $4,000 in credit card debt. So it's like, man, it sucks on one end to think that, oh yay, I made an investment and I made a few $1,000s, and then to realize that few $1,000s is just gone. But it would also just be nice to not have any credit card debt. It's been years since I've been at zero, true zero, what I would call true zero. It's been years. And so that's where I'm at. I'm like, just if more people buy into it, that will increase its value. And that's, I think, the current hurdle is we need more people, more adoption of the token. I was just trying to find the right word. Token, I guess, is a good word. But I want to also go into another direction, because I always go in many directions. I'm crazy. The banking cartel that I often and always talk about. I think cryptocurrency is going to create a temporary parallel economy. I don't think it will ultimately be the best solution, but the existence of a perfectly viable parallel economy, parallel currency, parallel market system is really cool. And when more people adopt the use of it and stop using banks, the more we take power away from the banks, because they have way too much power right now. I was just thinking about this the other day. We often, in my lifetime, I'm 38, and so we grew up watching the mortgage crisis of 2007, 2008. Go watch the movie The Big Short. They did a really, really good job at kind of documenting what happened and how there were very few people who were actually held accountable. But yeah, okay, we know about that. We're not angry enough about it. Let me remind you that in the early 1900s, I would say something even worse happened. There was the banking collapse of, I can't give you the exact year. I'm sorry, that's not how my brain works. There was a banking collapse where people literally lost their life savings. We don't talk about this enough. Imagine right now if, I mentioned, what would you do if you had an extra $4,000? Imagine if you just had a normal $4,000 in your savings account, and then you go to the bank to withdraw it, and they're like, actually, no, we don't have your money. It's just gone. And you're like, but I gave it to you to protect it, and you didn't protect it. That's what happened. But, $4,000 back then in the early 1900s was, I couldn't do the math off the top of my head, but imagine $100,000, right? Or more. Yeah, people lost their life savings. And again, almost nobody was held accountable. These banks are fake. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm trying not to get worked up. I want to stay focused. Okay. Speaking of fake, there are also a lot of fake crypto tokens as well, like these meme coins, and then the whole FTX exchange thing. That's understandable. That makes it understandable why people are hesitant to get invested. But I think more awareness spreading of specifically Bitcoin and Ethereum, that's what we should be focusing on, is explaining to people how fake and gay the banks are and how viable the alternative crypto can be. I'd say it's a temporary solution because this is kind of where my conspiracy brain goes. I'm not at all saying I believe this fully, but this is kind of what my brain thinks. We know, or if you don't know, you should know, that they're attempting to present to us something called a central bank digital currency. Central banks, if you watch any of my videos, are the root of all of our issues as a humanity and our service to the central banks and the states that are connected and the politicians that are connected, right? So now imagine a central bank digital currency. What I suspect they might try to do is allow the private market to get a lot of people's cash reallocated from the fake banks, into these crypto assets. They're then going to force a conversion. And you might be asking yourself, but Andrew, the blockchain is protected and blah, 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 blah. And you are correct in a lot of ways. But what you are neglecting to consider is how authoritarian the government can be and how they can write laws to pick winners and losers, as they often do. And it is not at all uncommon that they allow the private market to kind of reallocate capital, and then they legislate around the new boundaries to keep the capital contained again. And I know I've said a lot, and I know it sounds crazy, but I just want to say thank you for watching, if you have watched. No financial advice here, but I like Ethereum and Bitcoin, and it would be nice to see more people saying F the banks and utilizing crypto. But keep in mind also that eventually there may be a convergence point or an attempt to centralize that. So the actual best investment, in my opinion, is land. So ultimately, it's land. That's where my brain is at. It would be really cool to sell some crypto and to buy some land, because they can take land away from you, but it is quite literally the most physical way they can aggress upon you. And I like the idea of going down with a fight. If I'm going to be aggressed upon, like I am in many ways in America, I just want to go down with a fight. So come at me, bro. Guns. Also buy guns. Thank you very much for watching. Please like, comment, share, subscribe. Check the description for links to buy my merch or to buy some crypto yourself. Much love.